Hi, my name is Andrea Brown. I'm the Associate Director of Bands and Director of Athletic Bands at the University of Maryland, and also the founder of Women Rising to the Podium.
Welcome to Sketchbook Podcast, a discussion about creativity, preparation, and effort with artists, creators, and educators. As always, I'm your host, Daniel Montoya Jr. Dr. Brown, are you any relation to Dr. Emmett Brown of the famous Back to the Future movies?
I so wish I was. My students at Georgia Tech gave me the nickname of Doc Brown, which carried on to my time at the University of Michigan, but hasn't really been picked up here at the University of Maryland. So I don't know if it's just now the movies are getting too far away. I can't imagine that's really what it is, or just different situation. But I wish I was. I wish.
Well, we're going to say you are. We're going to say you are. Now, speaking of the movies and speaking of Georgia, we had on Lauren Teal, who was spending some time there, and she's a movie star. Are you also a movie star, or were you a coordinator, producer on a movie?
I don't really have any film credits except that, and this actually might be related to Lauren Teal's credit.
I believe so, yes.
Yes. When I was at Georgia Tech, we were... let me start that one more time. I'm so sorry, Daniel. I haven't told this story in so long. I'm trying to say it the right way. When I was at Georgia Tech, I was actually, besides the assistant director of bands, I was the director of orchestras, and we were actually contacted by movie studios to provide some extra musicians for the Hunger Game franchise. And so because of the weird scheduling and timing of the shot, I ended up kind of going beyond my students at Georgia Tech. There were several of them that got to be involved in it as well. But, just living in Atlanta and being around a wealth of drum corps folks that are around, and especially they wanted a certain percussionist aspect to this. And so there were some friends and contacts that I knew from the percussion world that I was able to to get involved in that project too. So unfortunately, at least the final cut that I saw in the theater, I only saw the percussion part of it, and we didn't actually get to see the string students in the movie. But it was a really, really cool experience.
And so you didn't get to play the giant timpani in the movie?
I did not. I was just there as an observer. That's happened to me a couple of times. This just here at Maryland, my first spring at Maryland, we were contracted or requested to bring a band to be the surprise ending for the Kennedy Center's production of The Music Man. Uh-huh. So got to hang out in the green room with which it was a really, I'm not going to be able to recall their names right now, but it was a big name cast. Got to hang out in the back room or in the green room with Rosie O'Donnell for a little bit, and some other folks, and it was a lot of fun.
Wow, that does sound awesome. Now, am I incorrect? Now they can't see this, but is there a tail wagging behind you?
Yes, that is Applesauce. I can't believe her tail's actually moving. She's pretty lazy right now, but yes, that is Applesauce.
What kind of dog is Applesauce?
She is we'll say she's American Bulldog mix.
Oh.
But I got her when I lived in Atlanta, so
right.
She definitely has a bit of don't tell the landlord pit bull in her.
How old is Applesauce? Do you know?
I don't know for sure. I would guess she's probably about 9.
Oh, okay. Right on. Now, Dr. Brown, do you remember that wonderful moment when we came into each other's lives?
I don't, unfortunately, remember the exact moment that we met. I probably, should, because it was definitely, the week was life-changing.
It was.
But I definitely will never forget the experience of that week. It was a fantastic experience.
That was the 2013 U.S. Army All-American Marching Band in San Antonio, Texas.
It was before that.
It was?
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
Was it before? Wow.
I did 11 and 12.
Oh, my God. So it was back then? Holy crap.
Yes.
Well, then, Wow. All right.
think-
We're celebrating 10 years
think-
pretty soon.
I don't want to correct the host, but I think it
It's
was
fine.
prior
That's
to that.
that's part of the allure.
Because you were there when I wasn't there once, right? They brought back your show.
Yeah, they brought it back again, and I wasn't there either. I don't remember who the coach was at that time, but yeah, because we were there. Dr. T. Andre Fagan was the director of the band. It was an all-star cast that year.
It was an all-star cast.
It was fun.
It was such a great experience just to see how they treated the band students like rock stars.
Mm-hmm.
And, we got our Denny's meal cards, but it was still a lot of fun.
I don't think I ever used my Denny's meal card.
What?
I don't know, but who knows?
You're missing out.
I know.
I don't know if Denny's is one of your sponsors, but you're missing out.
Well, it sounds odd to hear someone talk about Denny's when you've got like Waffle Houses. I mean, isn't that blasphemy? Isn't it like me saying In-N-Out versus Whataburger or something?
I'm just saying that there was a Denny's right across the street from the hotel, and we had cards.
That's true.
And,
Yeah.
downtown San Antonio, it's convenient.
It was. Now, Dr. Brown, you have the slightest of twangs. Only the southern type folk can pick this up. Where did you grow up?
I am originally from a little bitty town in rural West Tennessee.
Oh.
The name of the town is Milan,
Oh.
but it's spelled like Milan. There's a rural legend. It's not an urban legend of why it's pronounced that way, but I don't know if that's of podcast interest.
Gotcha.
But,
It's a card game at Denny's conversation, probably.
Yes.
Huh? Wow. Okay. And so you pretty much stayed in Tennessee through your undergrad, correct?
Yes. Born and raised, did my undergrad at Austin Peay State University, which is in Clarksville, Tennessee, just a little bit northwest of Nashville.
And
And got to give the shout out while I'm here. Let's go P, as it is the athletic motto. And it is Peay.
That is correct.
And for all the Austinites that I don't know, is it Austinites?
Austinites,
what's the
yeah.
appropriate word for people that live in Austin? People that are unfamiliar with the university, which there are many, shockingly, they generally assume that it's in Texas because of Austin.
Mm-hmm.
But again, weird card game at Denny conversation. The school was actually named after a governor of Tennessee who was named Austin P, and it's Peay.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Yeah. I think Stephen F. Austin wasn't even from Texas. Texas didn't exist, right? Something like that. I don't know. He might be from Tennessee. Or is that Davy Crockett? Is Davy Crockett from Tennessee?
Davy Crockett was the adored in Tennessean that went and helped at the Alamo.
That's right.
Died at the Alamo.
Rest in
R.I.P.
peace. That's right. I went to Crockett High School, so I know about all that kind of stuff. So, Dr. Brown, have you listened to this podcast before? You said you like podcasts, so let's put you on the spot. Have you?
Daniel, I'm so sorry, but I have not. I need to.
It's
I
fine.
need to get it on my list.
Well, the next two questions are out of it because I was going to say what your favorite episode and your least favorite episode is, but it's okay.
I mean, can we come back to that in post? I'll make that assignment. I have a strict podcast regimen.
Okay.
It's pretty full, and then it's kind of the one thing that, one of the few things in the pandemic coronavirus. So that I've kept fairly regular, and so I need to expand. But it's
okay. It's fine. You'll listen to yours, right? Like a good coach, you'll go back and study the tape.
I don't know. It's that whole thing of like listening to yourself talk.
Wow. Am I the only one that likes the sound of my voice? My own voice?
No, you're not.
Yes, we know plenty of people who love the sounds of their voices.
Yes.
You know what you could do? You could assign your episode of the podcast to your curriculum.
Yes.
And then your views would go up, and then you'd be in the top 5 list, and I think that's something, because the kids are going to be staying at home, right? I don't know what's going on.
Yes, we could definitely add it to my profile on my Canvas page.
There you go. Are you doing the Bitmoji classroom thing, or is that just a middle school, high school thing?
It looks fun. It really does.
Uh-huh.
But since we don't use Google Classroom, I don't think that it's really going to be of use for me. But I I know like there are like especially music ed professors that are using it, but because they're using it as a tool to help with future music educators. But I think it's really fun way to share your personality.
Sure. Yeah. Looks like a lot of work, but whatever. These teachers.
Yeah, I haven't tried it. I hope it's not too much work because teachers, everybody's working overtime these days. So
they sure are.
If they get some enjoyment out of creating a Bitmoji classroom, then please do that.
Yeah, absolutely. So your master's and your doctorate are both from the University of North Carolina at Greensboro. What attracted you to leave the great state of Tennessee to head to North Carolina to do your 2 higher level degrees?
Well, I actually have 3 higher level.
Wait, what? Oh my God, is it not on your bio?
Well, they're all from UNC Greensboro.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
No. It is okay.
Thank you for correcting me. Well, let me mansplain your degrees to you for a minute. I'm just kidding. All right, come on, go ahead. So sorry.
It is okay.
Correct me.
So I this is kind of going way back, but I knew in 8th grade that I wanted to do something in music.
No?
At the time, I was I was very enamored with being a band director. Mm-hmm. But then once I got into college, I kind of swayed more toward horn performance for a bit. And then I just bringing it all together here. I marched drum corps for a couple of years, but I did not age out because, one, as a horn player, I've wanted to take advantage of some opportunities to do some summer experiences with my concert instrument. And so this will get us to UNCG, I promise. I spent 2 summers at Brevard Music Center. Uh-huh. And one of my teachers at Brevard Music Center was actually the horn professor at UNCG. Because otherwise I would never have heard of the school as a person of, striking out on my own strange path as I did. And I didn't necessarily have anyone saying, you should think about this, you should do this. I had wonderful professors at Austin P, but that particular part of it was not really a part of my experience. And so I was kind of feeling things out on my own. So I decided after that experience at Brevard that I was really interested in getting a horn performance degree out of undergrad. So I auditioned at several places, but UNCG offered me a wonderful assistantship package.
Of course.
And again, I enjoyed my experience of interviewing and auditioning, and I enjoyed the place, and so that's where I ended up.
I see. And so what are your besides your bachelor's, what are your other degrees?
So I got a master's in horn performance at UNC Greensboro, and then I ended up staying there another year. So I was there for a total of 3 years and got 2 master's degrees, the second one being a master's in music education.
Oh, okay.
And that's where I swayed's not the right word, but kind of made the curve kind of back, away from horn performance, and then kind of really got focused on conducting. So it was master's in music ed with a focus on conducting.
Gotcha. And then I guess, did you take some time to teach before you went back to get your doctorate?
Yes. Here we go.
Don't answer that yet. Don't answer that because I have these questions about it. But so there was some time between your master's and doctorate, correct?
Yes.
Okay, that's
good.
Yes,
and you went back.
So what brought you to come back? So a lot of people, especially when they go teach, then they go like, oh, and you've taught, and we're going to talk about this in Wisconsin and Texas. So then you went back to UNC for your doctorate in conducting, correct?
Yes. So there was, a few years apart in those experiences. Mm-hmm. And one thing that was really interesting to me about it was that there was, I was going to have some different experiences because there were some different professors there. So I ended up, I ended up having 2 conducting professors, 2 mentors for my DMA. There was a new horn professor at that point, and I really wanted to. That was another thing that I knew I could do at UNCG. Not every school allows you to do that when you're getting your doctorate in conducting, but I really wanted to play in the ensemble because for me, there's a different kind of, I think, alertness and attentiveness to what's going on in the rehearsal when you're actually in the ensemble rather than just observing your mentor or standing on the box yourself. And so I knew that was a place where I could do that. And of course, I'm just a super fan of my mentor, John Locke. And so, but there's probably kind of more therapy involved with going into exactly like why it was. I mean, I didn't really look to go anywhere else, and that was a bit of a low point, I would say, for me personally, in that I didn't totally believe in myself at that point, and I was very fortunate that Dr. Locke was kind of reminding me at that time that I needed to go. It was time to get my doctorate. And, you know, he wasn't necessarily saying come back here, but he was saying you need to go. And at that time, it was the best place for me to kind of not only have these new experiences with new people and develop my skills, but to also kind of be at a place that was could help me kind of get everything in the, you know, back in the direction of the way I wanted it to go.
Sure. Yeah. No, that's great. That's fantastic. So you were in Tennessee. You grew up in Tennessee. You did some time in Wisconsin, did some time in Texas, did some time in Georgia, did some time in Michigan. Was it prison? And now you're in Maryland.
Yes.
Do you like professional sports? And if so, what do you consider your teams to be?
Okay. Football, NFL, definitely a Titans fan. For sure. The highs and the lows. Doesn't matter. They hooked us from the beginning because they were so good when they got to Tennessee.
Well, yeah, I mean, they basically took the Oilers from us, and then thanks for that. Appreciate that one.
Yes. So I've been a fan of the Titans, and then I am definitely a Predators fan in the hockey arena. Baseball, of course, is complicated when you live in Tennessee, but because of when you live in Tennessee, at least especially at the time that I grew up back in the ancient days, you had to be because of the TV stations, of which there were only a few. You were either a Braves fan, a Cubs fan, or a Cardinals fan.
So I know WGN and I know TNT. What's the Cardinals TV station?
I don't know what TV station it was and maybe we couldn't see the Cardinals as much. Maybe it really was just Braves and Cubs. Yeah. But my family has connections to St. Louis, so there were a lot of St. Louis fans in my family. However, because TBS was, I'm a Dale Murphy fan.
That's my favorite baseball player of all time.
Yes.
Oh my God, that's why I pick number 3 all the time. Dale Murphy.
Oh. Yes. I actually went to, when I was living in Atlanta, they had a Dale Murphy, appreciation night, and so everybody got one of the baby blue V-neck jerseys with number 3 on it. I'll have to show it to you.
That is incredible. My mom grew up watching the Braves in Austin, because we got that TV station. And if anybody remembers the Braves in the 80s and 90s, they were awful. The baby blue, was it Buddy Bell, I think, was on there, and maybe that's the wrong name. But Dale Murphy was like the shining star. Like, he won an MVP and he was 30-30, and then they traded him to the Phillies, I think, right? For Dave Justice or something. I don't know. A lot of people remember the Braves.
It did end up being pretty good for them. But.
Yeah, it did. And then in the mid-90s, they were always the pennant winner or something. So, yeah, but the real fans remember when the Braves were awful. Baby blue Braves. That's incredible. Wow. That's awesome. Yep. And NBA, are you a Grizzlies fan now, or?
No, I don't really have an NBA team. Because I wasn't living in Tennessee when the Grizzlies came. I only really pay attention to the NBA to kind of near the end. I'll check out what's going on with the playoffs. And then because of my involvement with, because I saw so much Michigan basketball, I do follow some of the players that I got to know a little bit that are in the NBA now. But I don't follow it on a daily basis.
Right. So if you had to choose, if the Ravens were playing the Washington sports team.
No.
Do you don't support either of them?
one of the things that makes me so happy is the Titans beat the Ravens in the playoffs.
Oh,
last year.
come
Like,
on.
It's an old rivalry because they used to be in the same division.
Did they?
Yes.
I
And
didn't
so
know that.
in the early 2000s, right at the end of the 90s when the Titans first, when we got them in Tennessee, it was like that was every postseason, you had to get through the Ravens.
Wow.
And then that was, they're always kind of you've got to get through them if you're going to make it anywhere in the playoffs. And so, no, I actually went to my first Orioles game.
Oh.
When was that? I guess a year ago, a little over a year ago. And that was, and I had to, those two stadiums are right next to each other, and so I had to walk by the Ravens stadium. And I have to be careful because there's folks up here in Maryland will hear me say this, but I just have I am the most opposite you can be of a Ravens fan. That would be the nicest way I could say that.
Man, Lamar Jackson. I can
appreciate the talent.
Sure, yeah,
that they have there.
No, I got
and they've got the other Harbaugh.
I was about to say they got the brother of the guy. Was he at Michigan when you were, or were you there?
Yeah,
okay, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I have no love for the Ravens.
Okay, wow, that's fine.
That made me so happy when we were actually when Tennessee beat them.
I was shocked watching that game. I could not believe it.
It was awesome. It was so wonderful.
I will say I did like the Titans when Steve Young and Vince Young were there, and then I stopped because y'all got rid of Vince Young. Hey, man, you don't like Vince Young? You know what? Coming from someone who beat UT twice, Maryland, by the way, I had to Google to see if you were there for both years because I was going to be mad.
I was just there for the one.
You were there for the second time because I was going to be like, "You're the reason." Oh my God, how embarrassing!
Yeah. No, it was.
It was. What makes it worse is that year, your first year, that was the scandalous Maryland football team year, right? So technically, they should have been, but boy, they took care of business against my beloved Longhorns. Thank you, Dr. Brown, for that.
Well, I wouldn't say they took care of business. It was a really weird game, but in the end, they were the ones that were on top. It was definitely like a back and forth kind of event. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. The beginnings of the seasons, both seasons that I've been here, the beginnings have been, a lot of fun, and then things definitely change after that. Hoping, that there's obviously things are on hold for now, but I'm definitely interested to see what Coach Loxley is able to do. He's bringing a lot of really great energy, and I can tell there's just a lot of respect and appreciation for him in the community. And though I haven't obviously talked to any of the players, but it seems like they're definitely buying into what he's selling. So. Mm-hmm.
Now, are you looking forward?
Such a tough conference, though.
Yeah, it is. And are you looking forward to spring football with them?
Well, have I missed an announcement? Is that happening for sure?
They said they're delaying. I'm assuming. Look, they're thinking that it's going to happen.
Right. I just wanted to make sure that I hadn't missed an announcement.
Oh, by the way, breaking news, Dr.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
You should be in a meeting right now.
Because it changes every day. We are looking into the possibility. Our students are just really craving to have a more normal experience. And right now, we are in this. We are starting the first 2 weeks online, and with the possibility of moving into in person, depending on how things are going. And so, we have to be optimistic and hopeful and plan for that, even though there's several signs that indicate that might not happen. Right. But we know this fall is not going to be any semblance of what we're used to. So the students are definitely interested in creating some kind of marching band experience in the spring. But I have no idea if that's going to be connected to football at all, because I do think, this is me personally, this is not me as a representative of the University of Maryland, but I think that the Big Ten's going to try to make football happen one way or the other.
For sure, for sure. What's the weather like in the springtime, the early spring? I guess they still call it winter over in Maryland. Is it snow over there or what?
There's not very much snow. If it does snow, I think my first year, I just finished up year 2. So my first year we got like 1 8-inch snowfall. But that was the first time they'd had something like that in a couple of years. And then I don't think we got any snow much at all this past winter. So, and then we also start very late. We start the last week of January for our spring semester.
Oh, yeah.
So that will be, helpful to us as far as weather goes. It should be pretty nice.
Gotcha. So as we talked, you finished your bachelor's from Austin P, and then you went directly to get your your 2 masters, right? You basically got 3 degrees right after each other, and then you went to teach. Can you tell us where your first teaching job was?
It was in Milwaukee, let me say that again. Milwaukee, Wisconsin, at Mapledale School in Fox Point. I guess it wasn't technically Milwaukee. It was a suburb just north of Milwaukee, in Fox Point.
How'd you get?
It was
Go ahead. Sorry.
How to get there? Oh, I know, it's okay. I followed a guy.
Oh, it's a tale as old as time, right?
Yes.
Was he getting a job there also, or going to school?
Yes, he had a job there, and so it was 2 musicians trying to find jobs together, which is very, very tough.
Sure.
But he had a college position, and then I got this position was like a middle school. It was a 4 through 8 school. It was very unique, at least to me. It was not something that I was used to.
For sure.
In the South. For coming out of school, it was going to be a good experience for me just to actually get in the classroom.
Yeah. How long were you in Wisconsin teaching at that job?
We were only there for a year. For a few things, but one of the other reasons is obviously for both of us, there was the beckoning or the calling of the land of milk and honey of band and music in Texas, and so looking for opportunities to teach there. And then he also decided to go back to school and got an assistantship to do his doctorate.
Oh, wow. Okay. Was he in Texas also with you? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Well, we'll get to Texas in a little bit. That's on the list. We devote a huge chunk to pumping up the great state of Texas.
I wasn't there very long, so I won't be able to help out too much.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. So you mentioned that you marched the drum and/or bugle corps. Which drum corps did you march?
I marched with Southwind back when they were from Montgomery, Alabama.
Oh, okay, so yeah, I was gonna say because nowadays people associate them with, is it Lexington? They're in Lexington, I think now. So Montgomery, Alabama. Wow.
Montgomery, Alabama. We rehearsed. We had every days at Maxwell Air Force Base.
What?
Which, if I'm not mistaken, was near a dog food plant because it didn't smell very good during rehearsals. My Southwind friends, if they ever hear this, can fact check me on that. But yes, we rehearsed on the Maxwell Air Force Base. I don't know how they got that hookup. So yeah, that was my first experience. That was right after I graduated from high school, and I absolutely loved drum corps, but I had no idea what I was getting into.
Okay. Wow. And did you march anywhere after Southwind, or was it just that?
No, Southwind, in the year that I marched, did not do very well competitively. Okay. And they had just changed divisions. The year before, they had won their division.
Yeah.
And so then they moved up to whatever you wanted to call it, open class or Division 1.
I was going to say, back then it was Div 1, Div 2, Div 3, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so it did not do very well. And so there was a bit of a moving around of pieces, and there was a vehicle that went to cadet auditions that fall. Mm-hmm. And so several folks that I marched with, we all went up to audition at cadets. And I can't remember who all was in that vehicle, but there was a good chunk of us that ended up marching there that summer.
Oh, wow. And so you did how many years at cadets?
Just one.
Just one. And as you said, you still have 1 year of eligibility left because you
I have more than that. There were several. I left a few on the table.
Oh, wow. So they haven't tried to get you to come in and march again? I mean, isn't that how it works in drum corps? You never used them.
Yeah, that's probably a little more complicated. But no, because I did the 2 years at Brevard after that, but I can't remember. I still might have had one more left. And there were aspirations of thinking about going back, but it just didn't ever quite happen.
Sure.
But I mean, again, still a fan, not right around, I guess my sister marched the year that I probably should have aged out, and so I got to watch her kind of do her thing, and
Gotcha.
that was cool. So.
Would you care to share the title of the show you marched the cadets that year?
It was West Side Story.
Can I say the year or not?
It was 94.
I was going to say that. Wow, that's the year you marched, huh? I saw you in that show.
Yes.
I just thought.
Oh, at least you were alive to see me instead of like a twinkle in somebody's eye.
You ever ask the kids about it? They're like, I was born in 2002 or something.
Yeah, I don't ask them anymore. I mean, it's getting to the point where, of course, jumping time here, but the drum corps fans, it's kind of even debatable whether they know Spartacus in 2008.
Oh my God! Yeah, seriously.
And so it's just I'm just kind of getting used to that.
Right.
I'm a dinosaur.
Well, yeah, like when I talk about at Scouts, when I was like, the first show I saw was 93 Madison. And, you just kind of look at these kids and like, that was forever ago. That's like when Chris Comnick tells me he marched in 63 or whenever, I know it's not 63, but it's crazy to think when you really sit down to count on your fingers how it's like, oh, that is a long time ago. So when you marched the Southwind and when you marched the cadets, I'm assuming of Bergen County?
Bergen County.
That's
yes.
right, the CBC. You have an active career in drum corps as a instructor, teacher, mentor, etc. Were there a lot of instructors that quote unquote looked like you? Because you marched mellophone. Right? Yeah, I assume you marched mellophone.
Yes.
And,
yes.
Would you say that there was a large number, a satisfactory number, a minimal number of female instructors that you saw at either of those drum corps?
There were zero unless they were in front of the guard.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That, I remember trying to think for sure. It might have... At cadets, I don't remember any females being on staff except for guard folk. Southwind, I don't think so either.
Wow,
though that was a little harder to remember.
Yeah, sure. Were any of your public school directors female?
No.
No.
It's it's a little bit of I didn't have any female role models. I was from a part of the state where if you're from Tennessee, I got to give a shout out to Nola Jones and Joanne Hood, especially if you're from there are definitely other fantastic female band directors in Tennessee, so I don't want to exclude any of them either. But as a person that was from West Tennessee growing up when I did, you at least can kind of heard of these people.
Yeah.
But my band was not involved in contests or, I wouldn't have been, really gotten to see them. And so I'd always heard of them, but it was definitely, I didn't have any female conductors. I'm trying to think of, sad I haven't thought about this before, but I don't remember when I had my first female conductor.
I was about to ask, have you ever been, like, other than colleagues and people you've seen, I mean, were you ever taught by a female conductor, female band director, female?
Horn teacher, yes. And actually she wasn't the one that was at UNCG, but when I went to Brevard, I had two horn teachers, and one of those, she was absolutely fantastic, life-changing. and of course, I got to know more, especially as I went and did my undergrad and went through school. But yeah, it was a while before I had a female conductor. I need to think about that some more. I'll have to do some more. And I'm sure if whoever that was, and I'm not remembering right now, I'm so sorry that I'm failing.
Now, you were on the brass staffs of Phantom Regiment and the Spirit of Atlanta, or when you were at Spirit, was it Spirit of Atlanta or Spirit of JSU or the Spirit or anything like that?
Okay, so that Spirit, I was only there a few times in the winter.
Oh, okay.
Did like a little bit of work with them. It was more of a location situation.
Gotcha.
I was supposed to do some more with them, but I think that might have been the summer that I was moving, and so it just didn't work out to do any summer work with them.
Right.
But great people. My first 3 years of teaching drum corps were actually at Carolina Crown.
Wow.
Back when they were purple, and
yes, and were they making finals at that time?
Yes, we made finals every year, but definitely, it was before the changing of the guard that happened.
Sure. Before there was 1 year they didn't make finals, right? With the Gods and Goddesses show, I think.
Oh yeah, that's right. Just out of it, yes.
Yeah.
So
that was the year Paul's drums were like top 10 drums. Yeah,
yes. Yes.
Gotcha. And how long were you on brass staff or brass consultant or whatever? What are so many role titles now these days?
Oh, yeah.
How many years did you go on tour with the Phantom Regiment?
So at Regiment, I was there from 2004, pretty much straight through to 2017.
Oh wow!
So I was on the road like all the time through 2010, and then after that, it's when I went back to school and things got so it was kind of more popping in and out. There was one summer that I totally didn't teach that I took off, but other than that, I was at least there in some form or fashion. But the 2004 through 2010, I was there quite a bit on the brass staff as a mellophone specialist, if you will, and then also I helped out with the conductors.
Oh, very good. So, if you said that you didn't remember having any female instructors at Southwind or cadets, did you see a lot of female instructors at your time at Phantom, and maybe just observing the other drum corps in general, maybe ideally increased as it went on, or what do you remember about that kind of stuff?
When I started at Crown, and then my early days at Regiment, I don't really remember seeing too many women on brass staff. You were starting to see, thankfully, more, at least one, maybe two on visual staffs, and some more maybe working with front ensemble. Of course, I was at Crown, so Sandy was there. And, I definitely have to give credit to Paul and Sandy are a big reason why I ended up at Regiment. And so there's that aspect. But there weren't that many teaching brass, right, for sure. It was still very, very few and far between that you saw another woman in the warm-up zones or in critiques or those kind of things. I mean, even so much that, and I don't think that he would mind me telling this story, but Jake Kennedy, who I have a lot of love and respect for, we have a little joke now that continues on, in that the first time that he met me, I was actually saying hello to Nola, and she introduced me to him and told him that I worked with Phantom Regiment. He said, "Oh my gosh, those flags are fantastic." And so I said, "Well, I'm so glad to hear that, but I don't have anything to do with them." And he takes that in, like we that's like a joke that we have now.
That's an incredible story. I mean, I'm sure that's not the first or last time there was some
Oh, no. That's pretty.
in the activity.
Yes.
So, then the reason I ask, you mentioned in your introduction, and I read on your website that you're the founder of Women Rising to the Podium, an online group of 2,300 members supporting and celebrating women band directors. Can you talk about when you got the idea for this, how this started, what you do, all this other, brag about it. Let's hear about Women Rising to the Podium.
Cool. Well, thanks for the opportunity. I need to update that because now we're at like 3,600 members.
Oh, well, 3,600.
Yeah,
Man, I'm just getting fact checked left and right.
No, that's my fault, Daniel, because it's not correct.
Your TA needs to update your bio.
That's right. But that happened actually in the spring of 2018. It was it was right as I was transitioning from Michigan to Maryland. And they were just, with things happening with the Me Too movement and other aspects of that, had my experiences with in the profession, I just felt it was important for there to be a group that, wasn't, it's not official. We don't take dues. It just exists there as a Facebook group, but just a way for, because, I have had that experience of feeling like you're by yourself as, band directors are somewhat isolated anyway in schools because there's not, unless you're at a big place where there's multiple band directors, you're alone there. And then there might not be another female director in your county, in your area, and so forth. And so it was a way to just try to connect women band directors kind of across the country and now across the world, just to support each other. We just cheer each other on with successes and share information, and it's just been a really positive experience. This past summer we had a book club with some good discussions, and it's just been a lot of fun to see everybody kind of connect, and it's definitely gotten bigger than I could have ever imagined it was going to when it first started.
That's awesome. And I assume it's anywhere from middle school all the way through college. So if you're listening and you're a female middle school, high school, college, etc. band director, is the name of the group Women Rising to the Podium?
It is. And retired folks are with us too. And elementary band directors, like if you teach band, we've had requests to expand it, but we feel like there's a group of moderators, and so I got it started. I pushed, send to make it happen. But I have a wonderful group of moderators that help out with the group too. Mm-hmm. And we've decided for now to just continue it with just focusing on band directors because we think there's just a unique aspect to being in that environment for now. So.
Makes sense. That's awesome. And according to your biography, correct me if I'm wrong, you currently serve on the CBDNA Gender and Ethnic Minority Committee, correct?
Yes, I need to correct the name of that committee. It's not your fault. It's not your fault.
What's it really called now?
It's the diversity committee. They kind of simplified it.
Sure. And can you talk a little bit about it? Because one, I'm not a college band director, but I'm aware of what CBDNA is and what they do. And right now, Dr. Speed is pushing out all those aerosol studies, and everyone's latching onto them, and it's great. Obviously, most, if not all, of the CBDNAs were postponed this year. Can you talk about how the committee works and maybe what it has to do with? Does it work with helping select the bands, repertoire, conductors, guests, etc.? Again, brag about this. Tell us all about this.
Well, I've been on the committee for a few years now, and I would say there's been even before the events of this, early June this year with George Floyd. This committee was, and maybe born out of the pandemic and people just having a little bit more time, but our main focus has been advertising and recruiting folks to apply for a set of scholarships we have for women and minorities or underrepresented folks to participate in conducting workshops, which are very prevalent, especially in the summer at various places. And so those workshops are generous in that they usually, save a spot, and then these folks apply, and so the committee is the group that kind of goes through and awards those scholarships and assigns and matches the recipient to a workshop. And so that's been kind of the biggest role that the committee has played the last few years. Though there have been initiatives for bringing in underrepresented composers to be visitors and like residents of CBDNAs, regional CBDNAs, and those kind of things. So there have been other activities, but this past spring, there's definitely been more conversations about other initiatives, and obviously with what happened in May, and as we're going through this, and there's been more talk and suggestions about what initiatives and how we can think about just what CBDNA can mean to everyone that's a part of it, and trying to just make help the organization be more inclusive to everybody that's involved.
Right on. Now, one of the things that I'm awful at is segues. So we're going to segue now to food. This is one of my favorite parts. Yes, exactly. I'm like a badly designed drum corps marching band show. It's just like end of opener, ballad, instantly, no transition. You've been around the United States working, and you are a world clinician, a world traveler, adjudicator. You're just world class. So your answers are going to be awesome, I'm hoping, unless you tell me right off the bat you're a vegan or a pescatarian. Do you have a favorite taco? And if so, breakfast, lunch, or dinner, and from where?
Oh my gosh. So I am a fan of street tacos.
Good for you.
So I'm not really a breakfast taco person, but that's because I am not a big cheese person.
Oh, okay.
And so the combination of those things in breakfast tacos doesn't appeal to me so much, but I know, like even my short time living in Texas, like it's like such an established rite of passage there. And I have had them. Actually, I've got to ask about where I would have gotten them from, but when I was in San Antonio for the Final Four, somebody brought me some breakfast tacos from some, of course there's so many.
Yes.
It all depends on, what your personal preference is. Those I did okay with those. They were good. They're not something I eat on a regular basis. But yes, I would say street tacos, and I'm kind of more for the place that I go to now. Again, I don't know. It needs limited options here in pandemic land. Is this? There's a place called District Taco that's not too far from where I live, and they have street tacos that you can get what they call Mexican style, which I love because it involves no cheese and no lettuce, and it's just the good stuff.
Just the meat and the onion and the cilantro.
Yes.
Yeah, that's. I was about to say, what is that's normal style. So okay, gotcha.
But like there's the Americanized version.
Oh my God, yes.
Yes.
They throw everything in a tortilla and just call it a taco, but we won't go into that.
Yeah.
I
wasn't sure because that was it's like a regional thing that it's called like Mexican style.
Yeah.
I'm sure if like. So.
Apparently they sell what they call like an Austin taco, which is ridiculous because we don't make tacos here. It's better in San Antonio. You have a favorite burger place?
Favorite burger place? I'm a fan of Shake Shack.
Yes, good for you.
I know that this is like a big thing, and so the comparison between In-N-Out and Whataburger.
Mm-hmm.
I don't usually get a burger at Whataburger.
What do you get?
I get the chicken biscuit
what a chicken?
thing. There's like a bit. It's like I don't. Of course, I haven't spent a lot of time in Texas lately, and so, but. Or anywhere where there's a Whataburger, but I'm a fan of both, but I don't generally get burgers at Whataburger.
Gotcha. Okay, all right. But Shake Shack's your place.
Well, it's closer.
Sure.
I'm not a vegan, so
Okay, good.
But I don't eat a lot of burgers.
That's fine.
I don't eat a lot of red meat in general, but
boy.
it's just it's just kind of how it happens.
Gotcha.
It's not.
Well, then this next question, I'm not sure how this is going to work. Now, you grew up in Tennessee. You spent time in
barbecue.
Georgia and in Texas. Tell me about your favorite barbecue.
Well, I am a West Tennessee style person, so it's pork
Good for you.
and dry. It's not pre-sauced. You add sauce to it.
Word.
So I'm a fan of like a vinegary, spicy sauce.
Yes.
And with coleslaw.
Oh, I'm not a slaw fan myself, but
It's all right. It kind of depends on the slaw. If it's vinegar slaw, not so much into it. But if it's, mayonnaise slaw.
gotcha. Okay. All right. That's the kind of content I'm here. I want you to I'm West Tennessee. So what is East Tennessee completely different or what?
West Tennessee, there's also, you can get into, if you're talking ribs, then you've got the Memphis rub. Mm-hmm. And so, it's just, I would say, it kind of depends on where the person is that's created the restaurant, more so than, or where the person is from. In North Carolina, it's definitely different in time spent there, because they do the mustard
Yes.
sauce. And then I'm definitely not for the whatever that is where the sauce is already on it. You don't get to control that situation. Ooh. Yeah, that's not really my favorite.
It's not your jam.
Yeah, but in Texas, I know it's more the beef.
Yeah, it's a brisket
aspect, and I can appreciate that. But I'm definitely, if I'm thinking barbecue, I'm thinking pork.
You think pork? Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Do you eat fried chicken? And if so, do you have a favorite fried chicken place?
Yes, I got to give a shout out to a place that no one will ever. I shouldn't say no one. There's not very many of them, but there's this place in my hometown called Lee's Famous Recipe.
I've heard. Maybe it's not the same, but okay, go on.
Well, it is a chain, but it's local franchises, or,
okay.
Like local owners, and
yeah.
so it's just it's fantastic. It's my favorite.
All right, good for you.
The go-to. I mean, there's definitely fancy. I would say number 2 is Maxine's Chicken and Waffles in Indianapolis.
Oh, a Midwestern chicken place, huh?
It's not Midwestern. Have you been to Maxine's?
I can't say that I have, so I will definitely go now because you said so.
So it's connected to a gas station.
Well, then that's all you had to say at that point. Now we're good. All right.
It's amazing, and the peach butter.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Right. Well, when we're allowed to leave, when I feel responsible enough to leave,
yes.
I will go there. Do you eat wings? And if so, do you have a favorite wing place?
Well, that's Maxine's. They put chicken wings on the waffles, and so they're the best chicken wings that I've ever had.
All right, here we go. All right, okay. Do you eat pizza? And if so, have you a pizza place?
Yes, I definitely eat pizza. I am an appreciator of, because I know that's another sticky situation and people have their types, but to me, they're not necessarily the same thing, so it's hard to compare one style versus the other. But my favorite pizza is actually from a place in Clarksville, Tennessee, because I taught there as well for a few years, and so I was back there. That was my first college job, and there's a place there called the Black Horse Brewery, which is kind of one of the they were a microbrewery before microbreweries were cool. Mm-hmm. And they have a pizza there called the Tunisian pizza.
Oh.
And it's it's curry, grilled chicken, honey, red peppers, cheese, and then they put garlic on the crust, and it's just unbelievable.
Yeah, that sounds really good. I haven't had my real lunch yet, so I'm gonna not be able to have that. But yeah. This is an adult podcast. Do you have a favorite spirit? And if so, what would it be?
Oh, I'm pretty boring in this regard. Favorite spirit. I'm pretty simple. I'm, vodka soda. I don't have any. It's my because I'm, thinking about like calories in, calories out. I'm generally going to go for ice cream.
Gotcha. That's where you spend your calories.
Yeah, but yeah, I'd say vodka soda. I'm not or rosé, like a little sparkling rosé, especially summertime.
Sure. Yes. Okay. And you are from the South, so I know the answer. Sweet or unsweet tea?
Well, this might surprise you. I order it unsweet, and then I add.
Because you like to control the sugar in your tea.
Yeah, because some places sweet tea is.
Yeah.
It's too much.
I would agree. Our changing bodies. When I can't drink sweet tea like I used to. That's
yes.
For sure.
Now I grew up on sweet tea.
Yeah.
Sure.
Pure sugar, basically. And how do you take your coffee, Dr. Brown?
I don't drink coffee.
Oh my God! Do you drink hot tea?
Sometimes. I'm more of a sparkling water. Like I have a Soda Stream, so I make my own bubbly water. That's kind of my go-to.
All right.
Yeah, I don't. Coffee smells great, but I've just not my thing.
Wow. Okay. All right. Well, that's shocking. So that's fine. You're a college band director. That's
I know.
That's what y'all do.
Everybody around me has like these big mugs of it, and it's just
right. So after Wisconsin, you did a year up there, and then you came down to Dallas. Where did you live? Because Dallas is such a general term.
Yes. Well, I lived in Frisco, and that was, of course, I haven't been. I need to go back and see like what all this looks like now, because this was like when Stonebriar Mall was still pretty new, and there was still some dirt roads around there, and 380 was just a 2-lane highway.
Oh, geez.
I mean, but it was already changing even in the short time I was there. It was just happening so fast. But and then I taught at McKinney North High School, which was just really getting started. That was the first year that they had marching band.
Really? Oh, wow. Yeah. And I guess at the time it was only McKinney High and McKinney North, right? So it was those two. How long were you at the high school?
I was just there a year, and which is weird because what we were talking about earlier, that being in Texas was something that as if you're doing any kind of music education or you're clued in at all or paying attention, everybody's always talking about Texas bands, land of milk and honey, everything's wonderful there, and so there was really like I was interested in being there and staying there. I will say it's an interesting experience to be there as a that I wasn't educated in Texas.
Yeah.
And as a female, not educated in Texas.
Right.
Like high school or college. And so I think more of it is that you weren't educated in Texas more so than the gender thing. And so it was definitely, I know, like I wasn't there that long, and so I'm sure things would have changed over time, but that was definitely it was kind of the first time that I was like, oh,
right.
Like there's a, I don't fit in here.
Sure.
Even though like we all do the same things. And again, I'm not saying anybody was necessarily rude. It's just, there's just an aspect of that understanding of, kind of this is, and of course you have to learn the world of UIL and all of those things too. And it was a great experience. And I just happened to, my undergrad alma mater had a job opening for assistant director of bands, and I was like, well, I'll apply just to see what happens, and somehow I got the job. And so I ended up leaving Texas like much earlier than I probably thought I would.
Right. So 2 years at the secondary level, as they say, and then for the rest is history, as they say. You've been a higher learning professor ever since, right?
Yes, I mean, and I know it's like I would say more of my colleagues have more experience at the middle school and high school level, and so there's aspects that I wish I could have had a little more time there, but I'm also very grateful to have had to be able to have gotten into, because I just know like that's just my my people, like where I kind of connect the most. And so I think it's most important to find that, to figure that out.
For sure. Well, it's interesting. You brought up a point that I'd like to ask you about, because you've been at numerous universities as a college professor. There's this stereotype that all you got to do is do your 3 years teaching public school, and then you're ready for your master's and doctorate. And, I'm in Austin, Texas, and there are a number of people who just do their 3 years and then they're getting their DMAs from UT. Doesn't mean one thing or the other. It's just you look at it on paper, and it seems like for some people, I just have to do my 3 years because that's all I really want to do. And you mentioned that you wish you had some more time, but it's a whole different thing. I don't know what the real question I'm asking here is. I don't know if it's fair to say, is 3 years enough? Or if it's like, why is 3 years that arbitrary number? Does that really make you qualify? Because the reality is, if you've only done your undergrad and then you teach 3 years, you have to do 2 years of your master's, maybe 3 years of your DMA. That's 5 years out of teaching. And then you may never have another public school experience again. If all you did was 3 years of middle school band, you know that you don't get that first job at University of Georgia right out of the bat. You're like the fourth band director. You have to do marching band, basketball band, pep band. You move your way up, but you never did that if you did your quote unquote 3 years teaching middle school. So the question, I guess, is why is it 3 years? Should it be more? What's the deal with all that? You've lived both worlds. Let's chat about that, Dr. Brown.
Sure. Well, it's a little more complex, I would say. The 3 years is definitely an arbitrary number with that. And obviously, I skated around that when I got my music ed degree, but it was because I was fortunate in that situation in that I had, I did have, even though I didn't have an official job, I did have quite a bit of teaching experience. And so they allowed me to do the master's since I was already there in education. So, but I do see the aspect of like especially if you're getting a master's of music ed, there would be more to that experience if you had been, out there day in, day out doing the thing.
Right.
But I'm going to, instead of talking maybe about the 3 years, I want to talk more about, I think in general, like that's not a great way to say it, but it's time to have the conversation about this class or caste divide that we're creating in the profession. And I know that it's not necessarily the intention of college band directors, but it has. At least I get the sense, I don't have any scientific data on this, so this is just, my personal sense of this, is that there is this aspect to people wanting to teach college because they think those are the best jobs. It's not necessarily because that's where they could be the best teacher or could be the most effective teacher. And so I think we've moved in this direction for quite a while now, and though I didn't get that roadmap that you're talking about, now that I'm on this side of it, that is definitely it. Like I've seen, especially young white guys that, putting in their however many years, and like then they've got their little list of schools these are the only schools that I can go to get me on my path. But there's before the pandemic, we were already dealing with situation where the market is saturated, and this is going to be, our new situation is going to be a definite game changer. And so it's a conversation that we need to have about, do we really need to do we need to change this playbook of like why exactly, do you not want to go back and teach some more after your master's degree instead of going straight to your doctorate? Maybe it would be good to put some of that information to use and then go back. But, it's just some of it is that I do understand that once you're in school, the easiest thing to do is to stay in school.
Right. Yeah.
So you're fighting against that aspect. But I think it's on us as collegiate mentors to have the conversations with, would-be students about what the reality of the job market is before they, leave said job. And those realities of what those entry-level college positions are going to be, if they can even get one, because again, the market is saturated, the realities of what those jobs entail. And if you think, you're going to get out of your DMA and you're going to go straight to a job that you're not going to be doing athletic bands and you're going to be conducting all, 6+ literature, that's on us. Like that's a disservice that we're doing to not help those people understand. And so this long, maybe not worth listening to answer, but there's just...
No, this is exactly what I want.
It's bigger than the 3 years.
Right. It's just that's the number of people they've just kind of go like, do 3 years.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's just to make sure that, they do have some experience, because, some places it'll say 3 to 5, but, 3 is the minimum. Mm-hmm. But it's more of... And I'm not sure that all of my colleagues realize that playbook is in place. Because they don't, it's just, especially the places that are benefiting from the playbook. Mm-hmm. And then there is also the aspect of graduate teaching assistantships that folks that, that universities are using and utilizing. Again, it creates great opportunities for students. But it's also, a way to be able to, do what we do for students that are in marching bands, big athletic band programs, those kind of things. But then, if your whole stable of graduate assistants are conducting majors, are you really serving them the best way you can for their job prospects later?
Right. Wow, that's
so, and it's a lot to think about, and we're we're fortunate. I'm going to say this at least in the moment that at Maryland, with our athletic brand program, currently none of our GAs are conducting students.
Oh,
they're all instrumental performance GAs, or master's or doctoral people, but they have an interest or, they've had experience working with athletic bands, but they're not conducting folks. And so, but there's also, it brings a different interest, because I'm going to get way into into the weeds here, but there's definitely the aspect of, again, those people that think that they're going to get out of their DMA and not teach athletic bands. You also have to make sure that you're setting grad students up with the right kind of outlook and perspective and attitude about the athletic band GA experience. Mm-hmm. And again, but not obviously to help them, but also to make sure that the students in, the undergrads or the students in your athletic bands are getting the best experience.
Right. Yeah. Because they can probably definitely tell if somebody's like, I'm just doing this until a second director of job opens up somewhere else, and I have to do this stuff for marching band. Right.
And again, like, we need the assistance. Like, so I'm not necessarily giving any answers here, but we need to start those conversations.
Mm-hmm. Wow. That's heavy. That's awesome. Well, you're the right person to do it.
And then, well, I not really. I'm not in the DOB position that has, the real influence. But, I just, because I'm in that position where you're working with those GAs and you're working with, in how they're meeting the needs of your students and all of those. And they're your students too. You want them to have a great experience, but it's definitely a conversation that I think we've either ignored or we haven't recognized, but it's one that we need to start having.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. All right. Again, for a mid-90s drum corps segue, when going through your Facebook likes, I noticed a few things. This is what I do with everybody. I like to stalk their pages. A few things struck out. You liked Ludacris, and I'm curious if you have a favorite Ludacris song. You can take your drink.
I do like a Ludacris song. Oh, it's been a while since I've listened to Luda.
Thank you.
It was. I'm trying to think of a name. I'm not good at name that tune. But yeah, I definitely, especially like the mid-aughts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, of course.
I was.
Yeah, he was on fire. I mean, you may not be a Georgia girl. I mean, you went to Georgia. I mean, you ended up in Georgia, but he's from the dirty South, so it works.
Yeah, it was just more of I have to give Courtney Mills credit for my ludicrous fandom.
She introduced you to the Luda?
Yeah, because being usually the only female on the brass staff, you found yourself making friends with the color guard folk and that kind of thing, just because there's just tended to be
right.
Again, not that you didn't get along with everybody, but
yeah, of course.
They were the folks that you went to that you ended up going to. When you got segregated into genders, those are the folks that were your people.
Of course, yes. You have many a pretentious composer, artist, music page liked. It's very good, and then you have your like football band, pet band. I did notice that you were missing one composer from your likes.
Do you have you have like a page?
I don't. But I was still missing. I would just.
Well, if you had a page,
I did. I got rid of it because I never updated it because I've got so many other.
It's
pages.
a lot.
It is. It's tough.
Yeah,
it's tough. I saw.
Like,
of course.
I can't even update my bio for you. So.
Of course, I saw you liked Will Pitts. That guy.
Yeah. Well, I get to. Yeah. It's good times.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's with Will, like I was there from the beginning of his experience at Regiment, and then
right,
until now, and I definitely consider him a good friend, and it's been very cool to watch all of that, all of that happen. But yeah, if you had one, I would definitely.
Well, I might just do a fake one now, just so everyone can like it, but. Now, how many times can you remember that you have programmed Release the Hounds?
Release the Hounds. I knew you were going to ask about that. I don't know how many times I've programmed it, but it's every time the students love it.
That's awesome.
Love it. And the cool thing is, like, I admit I'm not a ritualistic Simpsons watcher.
Okay. It's okay.
So it just wasn't. Like I'll watch the occasional episode or whatever, but it's not that I dislike it. It's just not been something I've watched a lot. But because it's been on so long, it's something that students still know what it is, and they still know who Mr. Burns is, and that kind of thing. So it is kind of cool that it has that it'll have that longevity to it, and then again, it's just so fun.
Well, that's so wonderful. You're like the Release the Hounds champion. Now, is it Sue Samuels at UAB?
Well, she's at Furman now, but she was at UAB.
I think she played it, or did you play it at UAB?
I'm sure I played it.
I remember she ordered it, but
yeah, because it's on my honor band.
It's on your
list.
Honor band list. That's wonderful. Which brings me to my other question: why haven't you played any of my other pieces, Dr. Brown?
I did play Light the Fuse.
Oh, was that at Michigan?
Yes.
Oh, how'd that go?
It was challenging
because you do
for the particular group that I was
right. Because you do like what maize and blue bands because it's the marching band, right? That breaks apart.
It's not the marching band, but it's non-music majors. So I definitely I need to get. It's definitely obviously I've got a different level of group that I'm working with here at Maryland, and so there's been a part of like it's the first time since. I guess really since conducting the orchestra at Georgia Tech, where you can the scope is a little wider of that, and so of course there's some things in my first 2 years that I was like I haven't gotten to do this, and so I'm going to do this.
Yeah,
but
of course.
I've ever since once I started here, I've been definitely committed to having a woman or underrepresented composer on our concerts, and so I definitely, of course, I don't know what's going to happen this year because program is totally up in there. But yes, you're in the rotation.
Good. Well, I am Mexican American, Latinx,
right.
as the kids say.
Well, and that's why I did Release the Hounds at Georgia. JanFest.
That's right. Yeah.
Last
Man.
January, and that was you were one of multiple represented on that program.
That's very nice of you. I will always accept that. Yes, you are my champion. I very few, but you're on the Oscar thank you list when I inevitably win an Oscar. Probably not for music, but I'll still thank you for that one.
I think I did it at one of my last honor bands this past year was the Tennessee Mid-State.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Did you ever do the Alabama thing with Randall? You know,
I have done that one. It's been a little while. It was when I was at Michigan.
Did you do one of my pieces?
Like I said, I'd have to go back and look.
I think you did.
It's Release the House because it's just like I said. I love doing pieces that the students have never played before.
Yeah. Right.
And so it's, unfortunately, the world doesn't know that piece as well as it should.
It is unfortunate. Thank you.
Right. And so it's like not that the goal is to check off boxes, but the big boxes that they really enjoy it. Yeah. And there's some really good musical lessons in there as well, but it's just a piece that, it's a wonderful piece to end rehearsal with too.
Sure. Well, that's wonderful of you to say. Well, I didn't mean to turn this into a
advertisement.
Yes, but
Hounds.
Dr. Andrea Brown recommends Release the Hounds to everybody. Now, I hope this isn't incorrect in your bio. All right. Previous to Maryland, you were the assistant director of bands at the University of Michigan. Go Green,
Go Blue.
By the way. And the director of orchestra and assistant director of bands at the Georgia Institute of Technology in Atlanta. And at both of these schools, according to your biography, you were involved in research in conducting pedagogy technology. Is that correct? And if so, what is conducting pedagogy technology?
Yes. No, that is definitely correct. Well, it's a project that I started working on at Georgia Tech and got to do some more with at Michigan. Unfortunately, it's on a bit of a pause here at Maryland, but I'm hoping to get it restarted. But it's basically the project is developing a system that you can use in a beginning conducting class that students can practice with, so that they don't have to have somebody there to sing or play for them.
Oh.
So it's like a virtual conducting system. But and there are programs out there that allow you to conduct in time and it'll follow you. But this program was specifically intended to not deal with time as much as dynamics and articulation and duration. And so it's definitely because it's so complex and challenging, and again, there's not necessarily there's not a huge amount of people that would be using it, and I'm also not. I'm not an expert in entrepreneurship. I wish that was something that I knew more about, but I need to find the time somewhere in the midst of all the other hats of being able to get out there to find an angel investor. Yeah. But it does exist. It's an end-to-end system that does exist, but it's in a pretty simple form right now. That, but that's basically what it is. It's a virtual conducting system to allow students to practice.
Oh, that sounds fun. That sounds great. Segue. Thoughts on sparkling water, specifically Topo Chico?
I haven't had it.
Oh my God.
I've heard of it.
This interview's over.
But I haven't had it. But I will say for the last year and a half, I've had a soda stream because I was drinking so much LaCroix that I was feeling bad about. I was of course recycling all the cans, but it was just so many cans, and I was like, this is not good.
Yeah.
And so I got a soda stream, and so now I don't really pay attention too much, but it's tasty. Is that a particular flavor?
Well, they have mineral, which is your standard. Then they have lime, which lime flavored, and they have grapefruit, which I refuse to drink because I'm not a grapefruit fan. But either lime or mineral. I'm on team mineral right now, and I replace every alcoholic drink that calls for club soda. I replace it with Topo Chico, and it's significantly better, obviously.
Oh yeah.
Okay, well, You know, Coca-Cola bought them out, so maybe it's available in Maryland now. I don't know.
Well, that is, I am very happy to be at the University of Maryland. I am definitely, seriously, like it's a great environment for me, and I really enjoy working with the students. I'd say one thing, if I could wave my magic wand and change it, this is very petty and basic of me to say, but it's a Pepsi campus.
And coming from the South, yeah.
Well, especially being at Georgia Tech when like the
Yeah.
Coke's on everything.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Pepsi. I'm okay with Pepsi, but
Well, it's I don't drink it. I don't drink much of it anymore because now that I'm making my own soda stream. But I'm definitely, if I'm going to drink it, it's definitely going to be Diet Coke.
yeah.
Like I won't. I mean, that's why I don't. I make my choices, or I have for many years made my choices of which fast food places that I go to because of Coke or Pepsi.
For sure. I understand. Okay.
It doesn't matter that much anymore because now I get tea, but it's all good.
Yeah, it is all good. Earlier this week, I asked a question on Facebook about colleges and universities and if they offered a marching band methods or pedagogy course. And as someone who's been exposed to a number of universities as both a student and a professor, I'm curious, maybe you have some insight onto why some schools do offer this and why some schools don't, or why it's like, oh, it's only like a short segment of a class or anything like that. Because it surprised me to find out that this isn't a consistent thing among universities around the country. So what maybe you could talk about what it's like in Maryland, or maybe if you remember Michigan, or just your general knowledge of how this works.
Yeah. Well, I will say that even though I have a few different places where I've experienced this particular situation, I can't speak for everyone, so I don't want to claim that I'm the expert to all of this. But in the experiences that I've had, it has to do with music education degrees being so jam-packed with necessary curriculum, and then usually there are state requirements that are always trying to limit the numbers of hours for degrees, and so the music ed programs are always kind of pushing up against that. And there's students are obviously they're interested in taking more than those classes, but their schedules are just so jam packed. And so from what I've seen, the first step is that that marching band pedagogy or technology or whatever you want to, or tech is, however you want to call it, is usually the first thing is it's moved over to like an elective. So it's like you can take that class or this class or this class to satisfy this. And so then it becomes a choice that the students make. And sometimes it might be something that the student just deems like, oh, well, maybe I should take this rather than marching band tech because I'm in marching band or those kind of things. Right. And so it's usually that's usually what happens. And then and where I am right now, it hasn't even been on the books for several years, but we are reinstating it this fall, and it's just, and obviously it kind of depends on where you are in the country of how students feel about the need to be prepared. But I think there's kind of going back to your 3-hour question, or the 3-year question. It's a conversation that we need to make sure that we're educating students of, if they're really interested in teaching marching band, there is more to it than just being in marching band. Right. And so and trying to talk with our music education colleagues that it's definitely worthy of more than just a class or two in a broader how to be a band director class.
For sure. You would know that. Now my favorite question, the most important question, really, if I can only ask every guest one question, this would be that question. For the folks listening to us at home and nowhere else, because they should be smart and are socially isolating, please describe in excruciating detail what shoes you are currently wearing.
Oh, I am wearing, I don't know how to say it, but you're such a shoe connoisseur.
Thank you.
That you might know. It's OOFOS.
Oh, Oofies. Right?
But is that just like the slang name for them?
OOFYS. Those are the sandals, right?
OOF. I thought it was OS. Like UFOs, or I don't know.
Maybe
but
it is.
yes,
I don't know.
They're flip flops. I'm showing them to the camera.
Can you describe the color they are?
Oh, they're black, and I have developed, because of years of standing in cheap Old Navy flip flops out on the grass in the summer. For so many years, the last few years, I've had to do a little battling with plantar fasciitis, and so somebody recommended these to me, and I absolutely love them. They're like walking on clouds.
I just had a friend tell me about them yesterday, and she said that because she's just recovering, she said they're called like recover sandals sometimes. So when you when you do a lot of running, she runs, and then like yesterday she was wearing them so that her feet could recover. So yeah, this is correct. She said the same thing. She goes, they're like clouds. They're awesome. Yeah, UFOs, right? With their revolutionary UFOM technology. Ooh.
Yes, and I've seen some styles that I'm not too into, but I just went with like the basic black, and they don't look too weird, and they don't look like they were prescribed to me from the side, so that's good.
They don't look like they're orthopedic sandals. Yeah.
That's the fancier way of saying it.
Correct. Yeah, they have.
I did have that. I had those back when I was little, but
they do have sandals and slides, and they have shoes, like kind of shoesies. But anyway, UFOS, OOFOS.com. It's not a commercial, but if they want to sponsor us, we'll gladly take it.
They're good. I highly recommend them.
There we go. Man, you're just recommending things left and right. People should.
That.
You're an influencer. You're like a collegiate marching band influencer.
Maybe. I don't know about that.
So this question's always the weirdest to ask in the last 6 months. What's next for you, Dr. Brown? What's going on?
Well, it does change on a fairly regular basis. Obviously, we're recording this on August the 20th, right? And so is it okay to say that?
You can.
But obviously, and it's a Thursday, about a week after the week of weeks where everything changed for us.
Yeah.
And so in the same day that we got the official news that the Big Ten was postponing their season, we also found out that we were going to be holding the first 2 weeks of courses online for undergrads. And so up until that point, we'd been making the plan for in-person marching band. And so obviously all of that just was like changing gears, which everybody's been doing all summer long. So, but in a very quick fashion. So anyway, next week we're going to have a shortened, abbreviated virtual band camp.
Oh, okay.
And then classes start for us on August 31st. And so we're going to have at least 2 weeks online, and it kind of depends on what's happening here in Prince George's County. We are right next to DC, and so it's obviously a very populated area. And our county's been the hardest hit in Maryland with a number of cases.
Right. Ouch. Is there anything you would like to plug?
I don't have anything happening. You know, it's just, it's a little weird. It's really, you spend all your time, and I'm single after all the stories of following a boy from place to place, but I'm, it's just the dog and me. And so, you're just spending your time of constantly thinking of, and then second guessing yourself of like how you're going to do the best job you can for your students.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. When's the last time you played Animal Crossing, by the way?
Oh, it's been, I've had to put it away once that Big Ten announcement came out.
Like, I bet. Yeah.
I've no more turnip buying. So it's probably been at least a week and a half.
It's been a week for me.
All over my island.
I know I'm afraid to go back and check my island. I kind of built it as far as I can build it. I just need to get more furniture and stuff, and it's just not coming in. So.
Was my brother-in-law and my sister play it as like that's definitely a a relaxation thing for them, because they're not musicians and they do other things. And my brother-in-law is really, he's very much into video games, and so I've been surprised that he's stuck with Animal Crossing as long as he has. But they've actually gone into that again. I'm not into it this much, where they've got a second person. What? Yeah, you can evidently create another profile and basically start another person on that same island.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And so he plays other things, but he's still, his island is totally maxed out.
Wow.
I'm still wandering around with a what do you call it? A ramp kit that this is for the real Animal Crossing nerds out there.
That's incredible. Well, I say this to everybody, and it's always a lie, but for this is the truth. Dr. Brown, it has been a pleasure to have you here today. You're an absolute delight. We didn't see each other at I don't think we saw each other at Midwest.
I'm sure we did, but
yeah. Oh, that's right. I might have been like, hey, how's it going?
It's just too crazy.
It is. And then we didn't have TMEA. We didn't have the summer. We're not going to have BOA. We're not going to have Midwest.
So have you all had the realization of the reason this all happened was because Madison Scouts allowed girls in?
It's a number of things, but yes, if the Scouts, it's just when will they realize? Just let the Guard have girls, right? I mean, that's all we need to do anyway. I mean, I'm talking to the reason why the Phantom Regiment had good flags, Dr. Brown. So, yes.
No, I think I was all for it. I just thought I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, oh yeah, we can't have nice things.
That's why. Maybe it takes the Cavaliers letting girls in for the world to get back on its axis. Like it's all messed up right now. Yeah. Certainly not other real world issues that have contributed to why our country is a mess right now. But that's another podcast.
Please make sure you're registered to vote.
Yes, register to vote. Yes, boy. Yes. Yes. I'm sure you've watched. This is the week of the Democratic National Convention.
Yes.
I've been watching a few of it. I don't watch the whole thing. I watch it on delay, so I can kind of pick and choose.
No, I have actually 2 screens. I'm a bit of a political junkie since 2016. Before the election, though. Yeah. But that's when I got started. It was probably early on, early that year. Mm-hmm. I got kind of just more into the daily news of it, where I used to, it was a little bit more, it was further away. And then I'm a self-diagnosed Pod Save America, crooked media junkie. And so I watch, they do a group thread on YouTube. Oh, wow. Where all the whole staff does, where they just chat all during it. And so I have that screen up, and then I actually watch it.
Oh, that's awesome. I might have to try that tonight. Tonight is...
They're very funny, so if you're...
Yeah. I'm interested. Tonight is the acceptance speech by Vice President Joseph R. Biden.
Well, there were some good ones last night, and I'm sure you checked out
yes,
the big guns.
We had President Obama. We had Senator Kamala Harris. We had President-elect Hillary Clinton, the people's president, off of popular.
And Elizabeth Warren.
That's right. And Elizabeth. It was a night.
Gabby Gifford's playing her horn.
Was she really? Oh my God!
You need to check that out.
That's incredible, especially if you. I mean, by this point, you should know what happened to Gabby Gifford. Was it 10 years ago? I think.
Yeah.
And her husband is the one running for Senate, the astronaut, and he is polling very well against his opponent. We'll leave it at that. So
yes,
awesome. Well, this is the most political I've ever gotten on a podcast, Dr. Brown. But everyone's tuned out at this point. The minute we mentioned girls in the Madison Scouts, Chris Komnick's alumni donations just dropped again. So, well, thank you for this. It's been wonderful, and thank you to Apple for appearing in the background and hearing the shake of the collar. That was always fun. Oh, yeah. So, do you have anything witty you'd like to end the podcast with?
Oh, I think I've proven that I don't have much wit.
Go Terps! Is that a thing?
Go Terps! It is. Go Terps! And our president just I guess retired, like his term was up, and so but he said this at every commencement that I went to, and he said it all the time before, and I didn't know this, but terrapins can't actually they physically can't move backwards. They can only move forwards.
That's profound, I think.
It might be slow, but we just keep moving forward.
This episode of Sketchbook Podcast was recorded in Austin, Texas and College Park, Maryland, and was edited and produced by me, Daniel Montoya Jr. Our logo is created by John Suh of Purpose Designs, and our music is provided by Epidemic Sound. If you enjoy Sketchbook, tell a friend about the show or share a link on social media. You can rate and review this show on Apple Podcasts, and you might find your review featured on a future episode. Got questions, comments, suggestions, or concerns? Email us at sketchbookpodcast@gmail.com. It too could be featured on a future episode. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at SketchbookPod and join the Sketchbook community on Facebook at Sketchbook Podcast. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to Sketchbook Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever fine podcasts are downloaded. Thanks for listening.